Hey, everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Lance Zerline. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Carlos Rodon signs with the Yankees, Lance. A lot of talk. Who's got the best rotation in the American League? Is it the Yankees? Is it the Astros?
Well, I think the Yankees have to prove they can be healthy. Is Severino really healthy? Like, is he for real going to be healthy? Is Garrett Cole going to lead the league in home runs allowed or be one of the leaders again? I mean, I get it. Garrett Cole at his best, Severino at his best, Montaz at his best, Rodon at his best. Okay, if everyone's at their best for the Yankees, yeah, the Yankees might have the better rotation. Have we seen what Christian Javier is capable of for a full year? I know that none of those pitchers were ahead of Framber Valdez in Cy Young voting. He's still an Astro last I checked. And then you have Urquidy and Luis Garcia and Hunter Brown and Lance McCullers. And so, you know, I think it's close. I think it's very close. You can make a case for the Yankees. I don't have a problem with that just because you've subtracted Justin Verlander. But I just think that there's actually more question marks with the Yankees than Astros.
Well, there's more question marks too with the batting order. I mean, way more. I mean, that lineup has not been improved at all, and the Astros dominate. Listen, every guy in that rotation, the Astros are beaten. The Astros are taking care of business, and Rodon was part of that White Sox staff that he got pummeled by the Astros in the clincher in Chicago. Just destroyed them 10-1 that game. I'm not nearly as worried about the rotation. The Astros will scrap out some heat. Can the Yankees batting order do anything against this Astros team? The way that Javier's dominated, Framber's dominated. I'm not worried about any of these guys. If you want to know the truth,
isn't that the real question, John? It's not about who has the best rotation on paper. It's about who has the best rotation versus the other team's lineup. Because to be the man, you got to beat the man. So how did the Yankees starting rotation do against the Astros lineup versus Astros starting rotation against Yankees lineup? In all honesty, that's the way that ultimately you're probably going to have to look at it, because unless the Astros really fall off this year, and there's some, you know, the Blue Jays will be a factor, the Mariners obviously could be a factor. You're going to have some teams that are going to make some noise. I understand that. The Rays may make a big comeback this year again, but how do you can the Yankees rotation beat the Astros lineup? Because I think the Astros rotation can beat the Yankees lineup.
Oh, absolutely. And it's proven. It's been proven. They're still their daddy. There's no question about it. We're going to talk about Framber in just a second, but first, let's hear from Dr. Manavis. This is the greatest time ever to have an enlarged prostate because of your procedure, isn't it?
So the prostate artery embolization is an alternative to the traditional surgery. What I do is I place an IV, the same thing you get in your arm or your wrist at the hospital. So I inject microscopic beads to slow down that blood flow to what a normal prostate requires, and the prostate shrinks in response.
So simple, so easy. The procedure is basically a long lunch, isn't it?
It's true. It's about 45 minutes. You'll hang out with me afterwards for about 30 minutes, and then you're on your way home.
If you think you have an enlarged prostate, one place to go, 975prostate.com. Lance, take care of your prostate and take care of Framber Valdez. Do you sign Framber Valdez to a contract, a Jordan, a Bregman, an Altuve, a contract before you have to with Framber Valdez?
I think yes. I mean, you've lost Cole. You've lost Verlander. I don't want to lose Framber. He's a left-hander, which also has its own value. Very good at keeping the ball in the ballpark. Great with double plays. Has shown a mental toughness over the last 2 years, last 2.5 years that we previously had not seen. I mean, I'm going back to where it all started for him in the COVID bubble year. But Framber has been fantastic, and I think that if you have a chance to lock in one of these starters, it's great having pitching depth until all the depth goes away. And at some point, you start to thin out your pitching staff. To me, if you could lock Framber in for a couple years more by doing a deal early with him, I would absolutely do that if you're the Astros. You know you're not paying – Jim Crane is not paying market value once guys hit free agency, so why not lock in one of the best left-handers in all of baseball and do it at a rate that maybe pays him a little bit more on the front end but a little less on the back end?
You know, they want to do that with position players. They're not really – I mean, the McCullers 5-year deal, it was unbelievably surprising at $85 million for a guy who's injury-prone. And if it's not working out, which so far would you say the McCullers deal is working out?
Well, it was great year before last. Last year he was actually pretty good when he came back. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we're still in the middle of it right now. But that's an example of trying to lock in. So they have done it. I mean, they've tried to lock in a young player. So they have done it before. And I think it would make sense to lock in a pitcher. Fromber's not getting any younger, but what you would in essence do is by having Fromber at a deal that's maybe $20 million a year over the last 3 years of his deal, boy, that's the time when Jordan's going to be making more. Bregman's number, you're going to have to redo Bregman's deal. And then you're also going to have to, potentially pay Kyle Tucker. That may be the difference. Maybe that's the difference between being able to afford a Kyle Tucker, because by the time that deal's done, Altuve's probably out of baseball.
Yeah. No. I think Fromber can be here long term. He's an older guy now. He's going to be 30 next year, but I'm not worried about him pitching at 35. I don't know that I'd go 6 years, though, and I don't think the Astros would. We don't see the Astros going 6 years. We just don't. So lock him in. You'll get a couple of extra years where you might have lost him to free agency, but I agree. Give him that $20 million a year and hope that'll keep him here for 5 years. I'm with you. Lock him up.